So Google had its big Made by Google event, and apparently the company's strategy for 2026 was simple. Take the Pixel, add more AI, make everything slightly better, and then add another $100 to the price tag. Because why not? We got the new Pixel 11 lineup, Pixel Watch 5, Pixel Tag, a bunch of new Gemini features, and enough artificial intelligence to make you wonder if Google is actually building a smartphone or slowly replacing humanity one Google Assistant feature at a time. So let's get to it. Let's start with the start of the show, the Google Pixel 11. The regular Pixel starts at $899, which is interesting because the last year's Pixel 10 started at $799. So congratulations, Google. You officially joined the AI made everything more expensive club. And if you've been watching my videos, you already know how much I love this trend. The Pixel 11 comes with Google's new Tensor G6 processor, 12 gigabytes of RAM, a 6.3-inch OLED display with up to 120 Hz refresh rate, and a battery rated for up to 30 hours of use. The base model also starts at 256 gigabytes of storage, which is actually nice because apparently Google finally realized that 128 gigabytes in a $900 phone is getting ridiculous. Then we have the cameras, because let's be honest, the Pixel's camera system is one of the biggest reasons people buy these phones. Google is adding improved camera hardware and a whole collection of AI-powered photograph features, including magic capture, camera looks, improved zoom, and a 8K Pro stable video mode. Because apparently recording normal 4K, it wasn't stressful enough. Now your phone can record 8K while simultaneously trying to convince you that you absolutely needed 8K in the first place. And one of the more interesting features is magic capture, which can basically grab moments from video and help turn them into photos. So instead of saying, "Can you take another picture?" I blinked. You can apparently just record an entire event and let Google AI figure out which frame contains your face looking the least ridiculous. Finally, technology has solved the real problem. But the Pixel 11 Pro lineup is where things start getting expensive. The Pixel 11 Pro starts at $1099, while the Pixel 10 Pro XL starts at $1299. That's another $100 increase over the previous generation starting prices. And Google has clearly decided that if you're paying more than $1,000 for a smartphone, you deserve some extra AI magic. The Pro models get enhanced camera hardware, improved zoom, brighter displays, and Google's new highlight system. Highlight basically gives you a visual alert system that can identify certain contacts or notifications using the phone's illuminated indicator. So instead of checking your phone every 5 seconds, your Pixel can now glow at you and basically say, "Hey, somebody needs your attention." Because apparently even notifications need a personality. Google is also pushing the cameras even harder, with zoom reaching up to 120x on the Pro models, along with improved night sight and Pro stable video. And yes, 120x zoom sounds impressive. Of course, at that level of zoom, you're basically asking the phone to photograph something that your own eyes have already decided doesn't exist. But hey, AI. Google is also introducing a new Creator tab with tools designed for people who create photos and videos. And this is actually one of the more interesting parts of the announcement. Instead of needing to jump between a bunch of different apps to edit your content, Google wants the Pixel itself to become more of a mobile content creation machine. There's improved video editing, audio tools, stabilization, and even teleprompter, which means your Pixel can now help you create a YouTube video while you're holding the Pixel. Google has basically created the perfect phone for YouTubers. Now, all it needs is a feature that automatically pays my taxes. Google, I'm waiting. Then there's the Pixel 11 Pro Fold. And yes, it's expensive. The Pixel 11 Pro Fold starts at $1899 because apparently $1,500 wasn't enough to make us question our financial decisions. Google says the new Foldable is thinner and more durable with brighter displays, improved cameras, and a better overall hardware. And I'm not going to lie, the foldable category continues to get more interesting, but $1899 is still a lot of money. For that price, I want the phone to fold, cook dinner, mow the lawn, and explain to my bank why this purchase was financially responsible. And naturally, AI is all over the Fold too. Google is pushing Gemini deeper into the Pixel experience, with features designed to make the phone more proactive rather than simply waiting for you to tell it what to do. Google wants Gemini to understand what you're doing, what you're looking at, and what you might need next, which sounds slightly useful and also sounds incredibly terrifying. Because we're getting dangerously close to the point where your phone knows what you want before you know what you want. And that's when we're going to have a problem. Google also announced improvements to Gemini, including things like real-time translation, media translation, more proactive assistance, and other AI-powered features across the Pixel ecosystem. Google is clearly making AI the main selling point for these phones. In fact, if you buy a Google Pixel 11 Pro, Google is throwing in 6 months of Google AI Pro, which Google values at $119, which is a nice bonus. But let's be honest, eventually that subscription ends, and then Gemini is going to look at you and say, would you like to continue your AI relationship? That'll be $19.99 a month. And I'll be there sitting like, Gemini, I just paid $12.99 for the phone. And Gemini responds, that's adorable. Moving on. Google also announced the Pixel Watch 5. And this time we're getting both a 41mm and a 45mm sizes, with the watch starting at $399. Google is improving performance, GPS, battery life, and health tracking. The Pixel Watch 5 also introduces features like breathing emergency detection and blood pressure trends, although some health features are subject to regulatory approval. So basically, Google wants your watch to tell you when you're stressed, when you're breathing weird, and potentially when your blood pressure is doing something it shouldn't. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to get through the day without my smartwatch telling me that I've been sitting for too long. And apparently Google has another trick up its sleeve. There's a Stephen Curry edition of the Pixel Watch 5 coming September 3rd. Because nothing says advanced health technology quite like putting a basketball superstar's name on your wrist. And then came the announcement that I honestly didn't expect. Pixel Tag, Yes, Google has finally entered the tiny Bluetooth tracker market. The Pixel tag costs $29 and integrates with Google's Find My Hub. Well, that's Apple. Google's Find Hub. You get the idea. It supports ultra-wideband for precision finding and is compatible with Android 9 and newer devices. Google says the battery should last for more than a year. So basically, Google made an AirTag. There, I said it. Except it's called Pixel Tag, and honestly, competition in this category is good. If you lose your keys, your wallet, your backpack, or that one remote control that somehow disappears every 3 days, Pixel Tag should make finding them considerably easier. And unlike your smartphone, it doesn't cost $899 to tell you where your keys are. Although, give Google a couple of years, and I'm sure we'll get the Pixel Tag Pro Ultra XL for $199. Now, Google also refreshed Pixel Buds Pro 2, including improved noise cancellation and new olive green color. Because apparently, after announcing phones, watches, trackers, and AI, Google still had time to say, oh, by the way, headphones. And honestly, that's pretty much the Made by Google event in a nutshell. More AI, more cameras, more features, more devices, and of course, more money. So here's the big question. Are the Pixel 11 phones actually worth it? I think the answer depends heavily on what you're upgrading from. If you're coming from a much older Pixel, there's a lot here. You get the Tensor G6, improved cameras, better displays, bigger starting storage, stronger AI integration, longer battery life, and a ton of new software features. But if you have the Pixel 10 Pro, that's where things get interesting. Because you're now looking at potentially spending over $1,000 to get improvements that, while impressive, may not completely transform your daily experience. And that's becoming the problem with smartphones in general. Every year, manufacturers tell us this is the biggest upgrade ever. And then you look at last year's phone and realize it still works perfectly fine. The Pixel 11 is definitely an impressive phone, but Google is also charging $899 for the base model, $1099 for the Pro, $1299 for the Pro XL, $1899 for the Pro Fold. At those prices, we're no longer talking about affordable alternatives to Apple and Samsung. We're talking about premium flagship pricing. And that's probably the biggest story from this event. Google has officially reached the point where it's not trying to be the cheap alternative anymore. It wants to be one of the premium players. And honestly, I think that's good, both good and bad. Good because competition pushes everyone to innovate. Bad because apparently every company has collectively decided that $1,000 smartphones are perfectly normal now. At this rate, we're going to be financing smartphones for 72 months. And don't laugh. After what we've been seeing the tech industry lately, I'm not entirely convinced that's a joke anymore. So that's everything by Google's Made by Google event in 2026. The Pixel 11 lineup is here. The Pixel Watch 5 is here. The Pixel Tag is finally here. Gemini is basically everywhere, and Google's wallet extraction technology is more powerful than ever. Now I want to know what you think. Would you buy the $899 Pixel? Would you spend $1099 on the Pro? Would you actually drop $1899 for the Pro Fold? Or are you sitting there with your current phone thinking, yeah, I'm good? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Because apparently there are now so many AI-powered devices being announced that I'm going to need AI just to keep track of all the AI. As always, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, yes, I'm still calling it Twitter, and of course right here on YouTube at J.R. Abrams Tech. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.